Hello, my friends. It's Coach Blake here, Realtor and Executive Broker with eXp here in Northwest Arkansas. So happy to have you here today. This is a playlist I call Great Expectations. It is for future aspiring realtors. I want to show you everything there is you need to know about succeeding in this business where 90% of people that get into it fail. Most of that is unnecessary. And I'm here to show you how you can succeed in this business and why failing out is not necessary. I am somebody that came into the business with not very many friends, certainly no family in the area. I had no sphere to speak of, yet I've found a way to succeed, and I want to share all of that with you over time if you're looking at getting into this business, or maybe if you're a struggling agent trying to make your way in this business still. There's always business enough for everybody. We're all here to succeed, and I'm here to help you do it. Once again, Coach Blake, Realtor and Executive Broker with eXp here in Northwest Arkansas. And you can't spell Great Expectations without eXp. That is my brokerage, and this is this week's lesson. See you on the other side. Welcome back to How to Become a Realtor in the State of Arkansas. It's a quick list. I boiled it down to 8 easy to follow steps if you are looking into getting into real estate in this great state of ours. I want to point out down here to start off with, there are things that are always changing, little details here and there that you're going to want to know. So this list is as up to date as I can get to today, but if you're seeing this, you'll always want to refer back to arec.arkansas.gov and browse the licensure and education tabs for the latest updates and changes to the licensing process. So let's get into it so I don't waste your time. First and foremost, you have to be 18 years old or older. That part is free, that just comes with time. So if you are, and it has to be at the time you're signing up to do all this stuff. So 18 years old or older, reach the age of adulthood, you are eligible to become a realtor in Arkansas if you pass all the tests and do all the licensing stuff. So step 2, assuming you're 18 years old or older, complete a 60-hour pre-license course online or in person at any of the several education providers listed on the AREC website. So this $400 is about what it costs online or in person. There are education providers all over the state. So anywhere you live, you should have access to them. Of course, online, if you're a busy professional, it can take you several months to do it. There's really no expiration unless the school itself has an expiration on when you can and can't take the test. I would say probably you're eligible if you do online. I think I was eligible to do mine for up to a year, and it took me 3 or 4 months to go ahead and get through everything. But if you are able to attend in-person classes, a lot of schools offer them during the day, some of them in the evenings, and it only takes a couple of weeks to get through the 60-hour pre-license course. And 30 hours of that is going to be in real estate principles. And you are going to learn a lot in these classes about real estate, but you're not going to learn very much about what it takes to succeed in the business of real estate. So there's a ton of value there as far as what you need to know in the world of real estate, licensing law, different avenues of it. You're going to learn a lot about riparian rights and timeshares and things that you will probably not ever use in your real estate career. And if you do, it'll be in a heat of the moment type of thing. And you're going to say, what was it in that class? And then you talk to a broker, somebody with experience in the exact situation. But the point is, the state wants you to have a good background behind you, knowing about general real estate principles and laws and regulations, both on a national level and at a local Arkansas state level. So those will be the portions of the test that this pre-licensure course prepares you for. And on top of that, sticking with number 2, I would highly encourage you to sign up for a QBank type of operation where it is practice tests. Practice exams are where you are going to get the most value. A lot of them pull from sample content from the actual Arkansas State test. So get through all of your modules in your course, whether you're in person or online, and then work those practice tests like your life depended on it, because your life doesn't depend on it, but your licensure may. So highly recommend spending the extra money. I think it's $75 for QBank or something like that. And I recommend you take advantage of that situation. And you don't have to, but this is coming from somebody that did exactly that and passed both my salesperson's license and my broker license examinations on the first try. So take it or leave it for what it's worth. But these are not easy tests, so we'll get to that in just a second. Third, after you complete your 60-hour pre-license course at your AREC approved education provider, you will submit a salesperson application including education completion proof and the background check paperwork. So you can submit all of the application and the background check paperwork before you are done with your education, but they just won't process it until they have proof of completion of your education. So I would recommend getting as much of the paperwork done up front as possible. That way your file's just kind of sitting there waiting until you complete your education. So definitely before as you get into the class, like if you're an in-person class and you know it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks, send in all the paperwork, and then when you get done with your class, send in proof of completion, and you should be ready to rock and roll. And then they will go ahead and give you approval. The ARC will give you approval to take the exam, and then it's on you to go on the website and schedule it. It's scheduled through Pearson VUE and Pearson VUE testing centers, which are all over the state. I took mine in Fayetteville on campus at the testing center, but there are others for you to choose from. Again, arec.arkansas.gov has all of those locations, so if you are to that point, you just go find one. There is a $75 exam fee that you will need to pay to go ahead and take the exam. So I would recommend, as soon as you get your approval, schedule the exam and then plow through those practice tests, because you can take these tests more than once, but there is a fee every time you do it, so you may not want to deal with that. You may just want to pay the one fee and get going. So when it comes to the exam itself, you're going to take this exam and pass. It has to be a 70% or higher. You're not going to know your score because they're not going to tell you. But when the computer shuts down and the test is over, you will go sit in the lobby with the person, and they will say, "Congratulations, you passed," and they'll hand you a little piece of paper that says you passed, or they'll say, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to come back and take it again." So you don't know exactly what you score, but you're shooting for 70%. I've heard stories that maybe when the program realizes that you've reached a point where even if you get the rest of the questions wrong, you pass the test, it'll shut down automatically, so it could cut short. And I think that's a good sign, but if it's true on that side, on the passing side, I suppose it could be true on the failure side, where even if you're going to get the rest of the questions correct, you still won't pass, so it might shut you down. I don't know. I've heard the story about somebody passing where it cut it way short. I honestly can't remember the amount of questions that are going to be on these, but it is a long test and it's a difficult test. That's why I say take these practice exams. The content isn't so difficult as much as you are going to receive questions that are difficult to comprehend. Not in I shouldn't have used the word comprehend. They're difficult questions because they're going to be provided multiple choice, 4 different answers, and 2 of them are going to look pretty good to you. 2 of them you can probably throw away, but you're going to be deciding between 2 answers that look like they could be right on any given question. it is very difficult to feel good about the answers that you're putting in on these tests, because the wording of everything, they set it up in the question so that when you read the answers, if you're not very careful, you might pick the wrong one, because there's going to be at least two answers that are going to be very close to being correct. I never thought I would say it, but when I got a math question on my exams, I said, thank goodness, because now I know that I can get to an answer. But even in those math questions, you're gonna wanna check your work, because there's gonna be two answers that you could arrive, or at least if you do the formula wrong, you could come up with a wrong answer, and it's going to be on that test. So I recommend you work the math problem and then you work it in reverse and check yourself for any mistakes before you move on. But a lot of this gets taken care of, I'm dead serious, if you would do the exam prep test. The testing, I know the school that I went to, and I honestly can't remember what it was an online thing, but they offered me a free online test. Like, you could take practice exams over and over and over again, and that's what I did. And then I signed up for QBank during my broker stuff, and I took those tests as much as I possibly could before testing day, just to avoid those tricky things. So when you're actually taking the exam and you're reading the questions, take your time. Don't get stressed because the clock's ticking. Take your time, read the question, understand the question, and pick the best answer, because a couple of them might look right to you. So be prepared for that. It is a little bit stressful, but slow yourself down in your mind, read, comprehend, and answer to the best of your ability. All right, so assuming you're taking that advice and you're sprinting to success and you pass the test with a 70% or higher, you then send your test results, background checks, and any other required forms found again on arec.arkansas.gov, or a lot of times the schools are good about giving you the up-to-date things that you need. You send all that within 90 days of passing the exam. If 90 days pass and you don't have your stuff turned in, you have to take the test again. So make sure you get that done right away, and then pay the fees. So there's licensing fees, the background checks, and then there's there's a recovery fund that we all pay into as agents, and all together those things at this stage are going to run you about $125. So we are $400 for the class, about $75 for the exam, and then $125 there. So we're about $600 into this adventure. And next, after that, after you get everything sent in, assuming your background check comes back clean and everything's good to go, in the meantime, while all that's going on, you are interviewing brokerages like crazy. You are trying to find the best broker, which I can do an entire video on questions to ask, things you should look out for, but most importantly, it's just got to be a good fit for you. And you might go through a couple brokerages before you find that good fit. But some things to be concerned about are the value that the brokerage can bring to your business, meaning what kind of training do they offer? Do they have systems in place that you can take advantage of to leverage? A lot of coaches are going to tell you to hound your broker about the split that they're offering, meaning when I make a commission check, how much does the brokerage take out of that before it ever comes to me? And splits are important, but I wouldn't recommend leading with the split conversation, because if you're a successful agent, the split doesn't necessarily matter to a point. There's splits like 50-50 splits that it's going to be hard unless you're independently wealthy or your spouse is supporting you or something like that. A 50-50 split, that takes a lot of your chunk. So you're going to want to be careful of the split, but first and foremost, is this a brokerage that fits you well? Does it fit your style and what you're looking to do? And secondly, how much value can that brokerage bring to your business? How will they help you succeed? Whether they give you leads, whether they have systems in place that you can plug in, maybe your database or something like that. Maybe they do free advertising for you, who knows? Brokerages need to sell themselves to you. So you find a brokerage, they really need to prove that they're the place that you need to be. And if they can't do that in terms of value, if they're just say, well, you get on with us, you sell your real estate, and we take 40% of your commissions, and you're on your own. that may or may not be the brokerage you're looking for. So just interview several. I recommend 3 to 5, so you get a good idea, and interview the different types of brokerages. There's small boutique brokerages. There's large national brokerages. There's EXP. It's an international brokerage that's cloud-based. Fathom is the same way. There are so many options out there for you. So take your time, interview 3 to 5 or more, whatever you're comfortable with. It tends to get overwhelming at that point. But try to find the best fit for you as a person, in philosophy, and in business, of course. So find your brokerage, join the ARA, the Arkansas Realtors Association. NABER here in Northwest Arkansas, I put that in there. NABER is our local board, the Northwest Arkansas Board of Realtors. If you're Fort Smith or Harrison, there's other boards out there in Arkansas, but NABER's the one that I'm part of, so I put that in there. So join the Arkansas Realtors Association, your local board, and the MLS. All of those together are going to run you approximately $700 to get that going. So, and those are just the different fees, and it may be more, it may be $850, $700, it just depends. But that's the ballpark that you're going to be in. Plan for anywhere from $600 to $1,000. How about that for a range? What was the realtor dues? I can't remember. Anyway, becoming a realtor is all part of that. Many of the brokerages here are going to ask you to be a realtor. There's a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. A real estate agent doesn't subscribe to the code of ethics that realtors do. So you get that R by your name, and most of the brokerages here in Northwest Arkansas are going to require that for you to go ahead and participate in the MLS and the Board of Realtors. It may be a requirement at the Board of Realtors to be a part of the realtor organization there. So, and without that, then you don't have access to the MLS more or less, and it's difficult. It makes it a little more difficult. So some issues with that, but it's a good thing. The realtor badge was born over 100 years ago, and real estate being what it was back then, it was a lot of people being taken advantage of, and the realtors came about, swore by a code of ethics that would say that we are going to treat the public fairly, we're going to look out for the public's best interest, and we're going to turn this into a legitimate business instead of it being just, the extremely rich and highly literate taking advantage of people, because homeownership is the American dream and it should be available to everybody, and there needs to be somebody standing at the gate making sure that the common person has access to homeownership here in the United States. And that is part of why I truly love this business, because I do believe in private property ownership in a big way, and I think agents and realtors are an extremely important part of that process in maintaining the availability of private property ownership here in the United States. So that is something I could get off on a whole tangent about, but step number 7, find your brokerage, become a realtor, join the Arkansas Realtors Association, your local board of realtors, and get on the MLS, and that's going to run you anywhere from $600 to $1,000. Number 8, you're not done with your classes just because you pass your 60-hour pre-license. Within 6 months of licensure, you must complete an 18-hour post-license course. And even in this one, you would think, oh good, I'm gonna learn how to do real estate. That's not really the case. There's certain objectives that they have to teach, and for all the state wants you to know, you'll get walked through some contracts and things like that. So there will be some good stuff in the post-license course where you learn a little bit about how to do contracts and a little bit of the business side, but you're still not learning what makes a realtor successful. Okay, that comes either through a brokerage or a coach, or trial and error, and you choose what way you want to go on that. But that 18-hour post-license course is required within 6 months, and it'll cost you about $200. And once again, I want to point out, always check everything on arec.arkansas.gov for everything that's most up to date. So that's how it is, becoming a realtor in Arkansas. Those are the steps, and it's going to cost you, I would budget between $1,000 and $3,000 to get all of this completed, to get all of this done and set up, ready to go. So that could be a pretty big chunk for you. And on top of that, a little tip about succeeding in this business, I would recommend you have at least 6 months worth of family expenses put back somewhere, or at least have access to it, before you quit your full-time job and just dive into this, because it's going to take a while for you to get your feet under you. You're starting a business, which, if you think of it, $1,000 to $3,000 and some testing isn't a bad way to get into a business, especially one that affords you the financial opportunities that real estate sales affords you. I don't know of any other business where you can get in for as little and the payoff, if you work it right, is quite as high. So $1,000 to $3,000 in fees and licensure things up front, and then I would again recommend 6 months worth of expenses in reserve, or at least access to it, to go ahead and start getting your business off the ground. So I'll end it there. We're going in about 20 minutes here. That was the overview of becoming a realtor in Arkansas. I hope that helps if you're moving to the state, or if you are sitting around thinking this is the next move in life. Feel free to reach out to me, 479-363-4331. I truly enjoy seeing other people succeed. I love helping other people get to where they want to be, especially when they have doubts like, can I really do this? My answer to you is absolutely yes, you can. These are the initial steps to go ahead and get your license, but beyond that, I want you to be part of that 10% that succeed in this business. Again, I built a 6-figure income, an annual 6-figure income with how I do the business, and I am so excited to have the opportunity to teach somebody else when it comes along. But this is where you start. You have to get all this stuff out of the way, and then we can get down and in the business and get you out there making a living to your standard, whether you want it to be just a $30,000 to $50,000 part-time type of thing, or you want to push it to 6 figures and even more. I'm not even the best at this stuff. There's some things that I struggle with that if I could turn the key, which I'm working on, I could take my business to the next level. Maybe you get there faster than I am. You know, we're all on different paces, and our story is our own. Sometimes the teacher can teach something and the student takes it and runs with it and surpasses, and I would be thrilled. Let's say I'm number 10 in the business. I would be thrilled if you came on as a new agent and in a year's time you were way ahead of me. You were number 1 and I was number 10. As long as we're both happy with where our business is and we're providing for our families and we're doing a great job, that's what I care about. That's what I want to help you with. So get in there, do all this stuff, take your exam, pay your fees. Give me a call, 479-363-4331, and let's talk about how you can succeed and rock and roll in this business and live a life beyond your wildest dreams. All right, I'm jumping off here. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.